Hello again, everybody, live from Tampa Stadium. Horns are honking. Horns are honking just minutes away from us all across the area here in Tampa. Mission accomplished for the New York Giants here. The closest Super Bowl outcome ever, and in my mind, the most exciting Super Bowl ever, as the Giants capture their 5th NFL title in history and their 2nd in 4 years. And that field afterwards, that locker room was something else. Jeff Hostetler here, just think 6 weeks ago, this guy was an unheralded backup quarterback. Bill Parcells catapulted now into an elite class of head coaches with 2 world titles. The celebration goes on right now in Tampa Bay as the Giants have accomplished exactly what they set out to do last August. You can imagine that locker room just minutes ago was complete bedlam, and here's a taste of what it was like just a little while ago.
A stirring start from Whitney Houston, the national anthem clearly for the fans at the Super Bowl and those in the Gulf. In the beginning, it was the Giants who wouldn't stay down. Dave Meggett got back to his feet. This 11-yarder set up their first score, a Matt Barr field goal. But the Bills came right back, getting the game's first big break.
It's tipped and it's caught by Lofton.
James Lofton's grab led to the Bills' equalizing field goal. Buffalo appeared to be in complete control when Don Smith went in from a yard, 10-3 Buffalo. It was a rough start for Jeff Hostetler. The smelling salts helped him return, but couldn't help Haas avoid getting tangled with Otis Anderson in his own end zone. Bruce Smith put the finishing touches on a safety that had the Bills up 12-3. But in the closing seconds of the half, the Giants got it back. It was Hostetler to Stephen Baker, and the Giants were only down by a deuce at halftime and came out with a patented Giants drive to start the third quarter. Otis Anderson steamrolled for most of the Super Bowl record 9.5-minute drive. Bill Parcells called for O.J. to finish the job. Giants were on top 19-12, but it didn't last long. Buffalo's Thurman Thomas took care of that.
And Thurman breaking tackles at the 22, inside the 10, touchdown Buffalo.
That made it 19-17 Bills. But Matt Barr booted the Giants ahead midway through the fourth quarter. His second field goal made it 20-17 Giants. But it came down to this. Scott Norwood's try with 8 seconds to go from 47 yards to determine the Super Bowl champion.
No good. Wide right.
And with that, the New York Giants became champions of the football world. For the Super Bowl 25 Super Wrap, I'm Mark Stevens.
Great job. Great job. How about it, baby? I love these guys. We work so hard. We play so hard, and to come up and win like this, it's unbelievable. It just doesn't get any better now. It's just, this is the top. This is what we dream about. This is what you play football for, and it's just an unbelievable feeling. It feels great. It feels real great. We're world champs, and you can't beat the feeling.
Hard to imagine anybody feeling better than Jeff Hostetler tonight. He got pounded early. Here, the ultimate faux pas, trips over Otis Anderson, labeled in the end zone by Bruce Smith for the safety, but somehow he bounces back. The perfect touchdown toss on 3rd and 10 to Stephen Baker. The Giants back in business. Did you ever have a part of you say, geez, it's going to be a bad night for me?
No, you know, my whole career's been one that things haven't gone the way that you'd like them to off the bat. And, yeah, I just drew on that, to keep fighting away, keep plugging, something good's going to happen. And sure enough, we got ourselves a Super Bowl ring.
And how about the play of the game, a Super Bowl gem for the highlight film. A wonderful run after the catch by Mark Ingram on the first drive of the third quarter helped set up the go-ahead touchdown.
He hit me, and I don't know what went on the course doing that play. I haven't even seen it, but I know I just went for the chains, and it was key part of our game to keep our drive going.
No doubt about it. And then the final agonizing moment. Scott Norwood's kick, if it goes, the dream is shattered. It did not.
I wasn't really nervous. You can ask Stephen Baker. I told him he's not going to make it. I just had that feeling. I've been having that feeling all week that we were going to win. And it came down to that, the kick he missed, and we won it. I didn't watch it this time either. Yeah. I turned away from it. I didn't want to watch it. It worked in San Francisco, and it worked again today. So we're world champions. I have 2 rings. All I got to say.
And that's all that matters. In fact, Scott Clark joins us now. That's what most guys told me in the locker room a few minutes ago if they weren't on the field at the time. They're looking the other way. They didn't want to know until they heard the crowd react. What was the Buffalo locker room like? Quiet. Very quiet. Very quiet. Yes.
Hey, listen, you picked the Giants. You deserve the spoils of a victory. I deserve to go in the Buffalo Bills locker room. Momentum plays such a key part in every game, every football game that's played. The Giants, well, let's talk about the Bills. Their momentum in the first half. They certainly had plenty of it, but then in the second half, they became victims of a big blue wave of momentum. It set the final stage. It was indeed one of the finest Super Bowl games ever played, and maybe rightly so that it came down to one thing, the kick.
Fifth field goal tonight.
It had to be struck hard. But again, you know, you don't get a chance to kick it again. You know, upon reflection, I may have done something a little different. Get a chance to do it again.
Can't fault Scotty. We should have been put in that situation, but that's the breaks.
And those were the breaks. I thought the Bills were going to be a team of destiny, especially in this Super Bowl. I thought they'd win it. They proved not to be the team of destiny. The Giants did.
They sure did, and they become the 8th franchise in history to win more than one Super Bowl with the victory tonight here in Tampa. And Super Bowl 25 Super Wrap continues live from Tampa in just a minute. Stay with us. Corey McPHERRIN, Scott Clark back with you live from Tampa. I'm sure you've heard and read about all the massive security buildup here in Tampa to secure this stadium in the area for this football game. You had a chance, Scott, to take a closer look. What'd you find?
It was a building up. It was a momentum that really can't. I say momentum again. It's a word they use in football, but a word that we really use a lot around Tampa Stadium here this week. They were expanding in force, but then they were tightening in measure as the days passed during Super Bowl week. But then came daybreak, Super Bowl day, and everybody was in force to protect all those involved in Super Bowl 25.
Okay, sir, need you to turn up the car, open up the truck and the hood. You got it.
2 p.m. at the Super Bowl. Security begins with a thorough search through each and every car entering the grounds of Tampa Stadium. 1 hour later, the gates are opening for the fans. First, a spot check on the grounds for forbidden articles.
Okay. Take them out.
Followed up by a metal detection scan before entering the stadium.
If there's some in your pocket, they'll go into your pocket and check if it's keys.
And if there's something big, it'll go crazy, huh?
Yes, sir.
Lou Calcerano of Dobbs Ferry, New York, was the first in line for Super Bowl 25.
With all the security here, I wouldn't want to be any other place.
As the countdown to kickoff progressed, the fan lines swelled and the waiting continued.
I think if someone wants to get something in here, they're going to get it in.
You really do think that?
Yeah.
You mind putting up with this?
I don't have a choice.
There was no such thing as a VIP today when it came to searches.
This reminds me of Epcot Center. Yeah, it's the only thing missing is the sign that says you have 2 hours and 20 minutes to get to the ride.
But it's good. I think it eases everybody's mind.
Yeah.
You know, nobody wants to be at the game worried about who's going to be in there.
Finally, it was 6:18. It was game time, and there was not a line to be found. Anybody who wanted to be in here for the opening kickoff made it on time. Daryl, you were here all day. Were there any problems?
No problems. Everything went real smooth. Good day today.
And as far as we know, before the game, during the game, and after the game, it went off without a hitch. Bob Smith, the head of the security for this entire thing, had said earlier in the week, we want to stay nervous because we have to keep on track. They were nervous all week. Now they can rest.
I didn't hear anybody complain either of all the people I talked to going through the lines. Everybody understood the reason for it.
Yes, and well learned. They well learned about the whole thing. They didn't bring radios, TVs, or anything in. They didn't have to confiscate anything.
All right, meanwhile, here in Tampa, the celebrations already are beginning. I'm sure all the New Yorkers who came down for this football game and transplanted New Yorkers as well. But what's going on back in the city? Well, Jay Scott's been tracking down that story. He joins us now from some night spot on the west side. Jay Scott, what do you find out there, guy?
Let me tell you something, Corey. It is a celebration. If you think they're having a party at Sports on Broadway now, well, you should have been here when the game ended. Now that was a party. What was it?
The best Super Bowl game ever.
And one that was not decided until seconds before the final gun. In fact, they said you could hear a pin drop among 500 people in Manhattan's cavernous sports bar.
I actually did hear a pin drop. I dropped a pin, and everybody looked at me. You know, and I don't know. And I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry about that.
But within seconds, the champagne corks began popping, and most fans said they had known it all along, that the Giants should never, ever have been underdogs.
It's really impressive considering we weren't even supposed to beat San Francisco. We came out and beat a team that was favored to beat us by 7 points convincingly.
I was telling my friend earlier in the week that they were all wrong. The Giants were going to win this game big. I was surprised that it was as close as it was.
It is definitely time to celebrate because the Giants are #1.
Number one, you're going to be hearing that over and over again. It's a celebration that will continue, that's for sure, when the Giants get back to the Big Apple. We're live on the Upper West Side. I'm Jay Scott. Now, back to Tampa.
Sounds like kind of a fun time.
And we have to be here in Tampa.
More live from Tampa, Super Bowl 25 Super Wrap in just a minute.